Alright guys, Gilbert Solar back here, and we're going to show a video of how we put together Raspberry Pi and some of the components that we use to automate our Powerwall. So the reason we're doing this is because Tesla has closed down the local API on the Tesla gateway, and now we're being forced to use the cloud API. So some alternatives are to use Darwin's code on like a Samsung SmartThings, but I got a few Raspberry Pi computers, kits that I'm gonna experiment with and just gonna kind of show how we actually configure this thing. So this is a kit I bought off Amazon. It's called the Cana kit. And it says it's the Raspberry 4 starter kit, 32 GB Evo premium black case with RAM. So it comes with like a little diagram to explain what the circuit boards are. It has little tiny heat sinks that you can put to the CPU chip, but we're not going to do that. It comes with a USB-C power supply to give power. It has HDMI cable that you'll connect to if you have a display. I'll show the display that I'm using in this video. It has a little memory card, like micro SD. That's what actually 32 gigs. Samsung, that's what actually contains the Raspbian operating system, which is Linux based. This is the actual chip itself. It's a Raspberry Pi 4 computer Model B 4 gigs. And then this is a little tiny case. So you just kind of stick this thing in to here and it makes a little computer. There's a couple other pieces that and instruction guide. So I'm just gonna open this case, put the computer in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the Cana kit. Has kind of a picture of Raspberry, like right here, little indentions with holes in them, and then it just says the Cana kit brand name, and you can kind of flip it open like that, and you just, there's some pieces here, you just kind of pull this apart. Okay, pulled that apart, and so this is the base. So we're gonna stick our little chip into there. We'll take our Raspberry Pi, we'll just open this box. All right, so this is the Raspberry Pi. I just took it out of its box. It comes with one Ethernet cable, four USB ports. It has those pins for if you wanna like attach a fan or some other components. On the other side, you've got one USB-C port right here, and then two HDMI ports. We're just gonna use the USB-C for power, one HDMI for a display, and I think this is for sound. I kind of forgot. Okay, I just slid everything in place. So the case itself has like, what are the components here? So like USB, and then Ethernet port. Case is on the side. It'll say like USB-C and HDMI, AV. And then here on this side is the micro SD port. So you'll stick your the micro SD card that comes with this. So let's get that. Okay, I just slid everything in place. So the case itself has like what are the components here. So like USB, and then Ethernet port. Case is on the side. It'll say like USB-C and HDMI, AV. And then here on this side is the micro SD port. So you'll stick your the micro SD card that comes with this. So let's get that. Okay, we're just gonna stick this micro SD card here into the slot. So Samsung logo goes down. Just stick it in. Good. Push it a little bit in, and it's in. So there's micro SD card. And then we'll put our top on. So this is the top. Good, top's on. And there you go. Got the Cana kit case. It's all on. Ports are up. And it's good. So we'll just power this up, load up some software, and show you the next steps. All right, a couple more things. Wireless keyboard, just easier to work with. Have a little wireless mouse. I'll put these in the links below. And I have a little HDMI monitor. It's like a 10-inch. You can search for these on Amazon, just Raspberry Pi 10-inch HDMI monitor. And then we've got our power cord. I'm missing HDMI port cable. Okay, when you first turn this on, it's just gonna say Raspberry Pi OS install, and click it. And I'll say this thing's gonna overwritten, we just let go. And this takes like 15 minutes or so. So it's just gonna load up the operating system. So we'll be back in 15 minutes. While we're waiting for that OS to install, just wanted to show we've updated our solar system now. We've got a new inverter right there. It's like a little bit smaller one. I think this is like a HD Wave 3800 from SolarEdge, whereas this is an HD Wave 7600. This came from Sun Valley Solar, and this came from Tesla. So we're just waiting for permission to operate. They changed out this electrical box here, and now it has more capacity. So we've got like 80 amp here, and then a 60 amp, and then this one's off. So that's the new solar. So that'll be coming soon. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video once that's online, but now we've got a little bit more conduit. And so just a little break while we're waiting for our OS to install. Now, if you're ever waiting for this thing to install, it's gonna tell you a bunch of stuff about what you can use Pi for. So this is probably the key thing of why we're using the Raspberry Pi. It's saying for more advanced programmers, various Python and Java development environments are included. And that's exactly why we're using Pi, is because it can execute Python. It has a Wi-Fi connection, so you can be connected to the internet. If you need to, you could email files to yourself. You can browse the internet. You can do SSH, you can do SCP. You can do all those things, and you can just write code and load this thing up and run it. And because it's a Linux operating system, you can use the cron table, which we're gonna show you in the next couple takes once this gets online. So the plan is once this gets online, we're gonna copy our Python scripts, and then I'm just gonna show how they execute. And then we'll set up a mini cron table, and that's about it. Yeah, the reason I wanted to do this video is because tomorrow will be November 2nd, but it's the first work day that they'll enforce the double peak period. So in SRP Arizona, it goes 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then it will go also 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we have what's called a double peak, and it has a gap between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So they're 4-hour peaks, but they occur like one in the morning and one near sunset evening. So what we're going to show today is we're going to create a really long peak between 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then we're going to use our Raspberry Pi implementation to control just the reserve percent. So we're going to, at 0%, it's going to discharge the battery, and at 100%, it's going to charge. So what you use that for is you're controlling in the off-peak time that you're just gonna charge the battery, and in the peak time you're just gonna discharge. So that equates to creating a schedule and changing the reserve percents between 0 and 100. I think it's been about 20 minutes, and now it says OS is installed. Hooray! So push OK, and then it's gonna restart. This Raspberry Pi has these 4 raspberries. That's like kind of its loading indicator. And then it's not as fast as like a standard computer, but I guess this is what you get for like $100, and it's the size of a credit card. Okay, so it's loading up, saying welcome to Raspberry Desktop. So we can click next. It's just gonna ask you some like date, timeline information. So I'm just gonna say US if that's what your country is. My time zone's Phoenix, but you can put your time zone because this is gonna matter for your schedule. So I'm gonna put Phoenix. I'm gonna say next. And it sets our location. It's gonna say, do you want to change the default password? Default password is Raspberry, RASPBERRY, and I'm not gonna change it because I don't care. And then it's gonna try to select wireless networks. So here you're just gonna wanna select the Wi-Fi network. Like for me, that's Cloud 5G. So I'm just gonna say next. Go ahead and enter your password. Yeah, go ahead and say next. Then it's gonna connect. Just let it connect, and it should get you, your Wi-Fi will just connect. At this point, it's gonna ask you to update software. I don't care, I'm just gonna skip. You could update if you want. It's gonna say setup's complete, so we can restart, so we'll just restart. Okay, so it's restarting, has like this colorful, picture. Picture of the raspberry. Small fact, I didn't know there was a P in raspberry until I installed this thing and got the password wrong the first time, because I knew the password was raspberry, but I didn't know there was a P in it. So we're just waiting for this thing to start up. All right, it's just default wallpapers like this sunshiny thing. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna look at the top right. You'll see little Wi-Fi. Should verify your Wi-Fi's up. If you wanna check it one more time, you can like open the internet and go to like any website. Open Chromium, which is just its default browser. It's wanting me to update the date and time. Yeah, so we got internet, I believe. I'm just gonna do a test site here. Go to CNBC. All right, let's go to Tesla.com. Cool, got our Tesla website. Model S starting at $69,000. All right, so we got internet, that's good. Next steps, we're gonna enable some configurations so that we can remote connect to this thing. All right, so to get our Python scripts on here, we're just gonna send them through another machine because I'm not gonna show how to email it. So we need to go to this Raspberry at the top left, we'll go to Preferences, and then we'll go to the Raspberry Pi configuration. So by default, they don't turn on certain interfaces. So click the Interface tab, and we wanna turn on SSH and VNC. So we're gonna enable, and click enable here and say okay. Okay, so that'll enable SSH and VNC, and what we can do here, we can just check what our IP address is. So you can do this any number of ways, but this is probably the easiest. So I'm just gonna type ifconfig, and up close we are 1.90. So we're just gonna remember that, 192.168.1.90. This address will be different depending on your machine, but I'm 1.190. So we're just gonna remember that now. All right, so pi at 192.168.1.90. Pi is the username, and that's what you want to type there. So we'll just enter. It's gonna ask you for RSA key, just say yes. And I can't type, so type yes again. Once the password, default password was raspberry, RASPBERRY, and we're in. So we can do like an ls command, just check. Good, so we're in the machine. At this point, we're just gonna open another window and we're gonna copy some files there. Okay, so on the right side, it'll say downloads and Powerwall. I'm just gonna go to there. We've got like a file in the code. Really all we care about is the Powerwall backup py file, the Powerwall driver py file, and the Powerwall time of use file. We also need an accounts.txt file, and inside that file it just says like username : it goes email : password, and these email : passwords are the email : password to your Tesla account. So you'll just enter like one on a line in that accounts.txt file. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna SCP some folder, the Powerwall folder we had with all the files, and then all files. And then the username pi at the pi address. In my case, it's 1.90, and then : /home/pi. You could also just do : if you want, but this will just put it in the home folder. So then on the left side, I have all the files. From here, we'd run Python and then Powerwall driver.py backup. It's gonna say we need pandas, so we're gonna run some commands to install pandas. Also another typo. It's gonna say a bunch of stuff, you just say yes. Pandas is used for the holiday code. So now we should be able to run just the Powerwall driver.py, and inside here it's either backup or TOU, which is time of use, but we'll just do backup. Okay, so we got our token, we're able to set the backup reserve %, and it's a 201 OK, which means it's good. Okay, so next steps will be to clear, and then we're going to install a cron tab. So we're going to say sudo crontab -e. It's just asking which one, so we'll just say vim. Okay, so cron tab is how we set our schedule now for the commands we've written. So I just have some preloaded cron tabs for the SRP service that we've come up with. So I'm just gonna copy and paste those. So what we have here is summer. Summer is gonna go from 1:45 in the months of 5 to 10, which is May to October. We'll run time of use. And then at 9:01 p.m. Monday through Friday, same time period in the summer, we'll run backup. And in the winter, we do 4:45 a.m. We'll do time of use. 9:01 p.m. every day, we'll do backup. 4:45 p.m. we'll do time of use. And then every day at 9:01 p.m. we'll do backup. So we can go ahead, write this down. We installed the new cron tab. We can do crontab -ls or -l. Oh, sorry. So we'll do sudo crontab -l, and we should see our cron tab. So now we know we're running these commands. So the time of use one is going to set you at 0% reserve, and the backup one is going to set you at 100% reserve. So there you go. We created the Raspberry Pi, we built it, we copied some code onto the machine, which I'll put in links in the description. And then we set up a cron tab. I'll also put this cron tab up. This is for 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you have different hours, you just like change these times. Like if you're at 6 p.m., like this is going to be roughly like a 5:45. This will be like a 17:45. If it's ending at 10 a.m., this would be like a 10. This would be, this is just Crontab language. I can put in a link so that you can see exactly how Crontab reacts. If you want, you can append these things with like an arrow with log files to see that it's running as you expect. So, yep, that's all I got. So thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.